Hey there.
Hello, Scott. It's wonderful to connect with you today. How are you feeling as you begin?
Oh, I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed at the moment.
I hear you, and thank you for sharing that. Let's take a moment to settle in. What's on your mind right now that feels most important for us to focus on today?
Well, I guess I'm trying to find work at the moment.
Got it, Scott. So you're feeling overwhelmed and you're trying to find work. What would you like to focus on in our time together today that could help you move forward?
Or maybe coming up with a good plan of finding some programming work.
That sounds like a great direction. So, if we could come up with a solid plan for finding programming work, what would success look like for you by the end of this session?
I think it's a set of strategies that if I employed for a week, I would feel like I'm moving forward.
That makes a lot of sense, Scott. So, you're aiming for a clear set of strategies that you could put into action over the next week, and that would give you a sense of real progress. What's the most important piece of that plan that you'd like us to explore first?
I'm not sure.
That's completely okay. Let's slow down and figure it out together. What have you already tried so far in your job search, especially for programming work?
Well, at the moment, I've been doing the Seek job boards, and I've actually come up with some software that polls it every day, helps me write CVs, and I've applied for about 30 jobs, and I've got about three interviews.
It sounds like you've been really proactive, Scott. That's impressive. You've already applied for a significant number of jobs and landed a few interviews. What's worked well for you in that process so far? And where do you feel there's still a gap or challenge?
Well, I think the gap or challenge is
Take your time, Scott.
it's a few things. It's not finding the
I
sort of work I'm really interested in. There's a lot of boring programming roles out there that, or boring to me anyway, and I'm not actively out there. I guess finding the jobs that I really want is so I guess there's two avenues: me working for somebody else, or me working for myself, where I'm finding uh, work that is meaningful, that can use my programming abilities and AI for the greater good, which is what I'm really interested in doing.
I hear you, Scott. You're looking for work that feels meaningful and aligns with your passion for AI and the greater good. So the challenge is really pinpointing those opportunities, whether working for someone else or building something yourself, that lets you use those programming skills in a way that excites you. What's one small step you think you could take toward uncovering those kinds of roles or projects?
Well, that's where I'm feeling stuck at the moment because I think I'm overwhelmed looking for the normal jobs that I think would then give me security to look for these longer term roles. But also, I think there's a sense of learned helplessness in what I'm doing. Um, I don't know how to find those other jobs.
Thank you for sharing that, Scott. It sounds like there's a mix of feeling overwhelmed by the search for security and also unsure how to find the meaningful opportunities that align with your deeper goals. Let's break it down. What would it look like if you could take just one small step this week to explore either a new connection or a resource that might lead you toward those more meaningful roles?
Well, I think maybe starting to publish some of my work online uh, that might help and gain a bit of visibility. So that's a starting point. Um, and
That sounds like a solid starting point, Scott. Publishing your work online can definitely help build visibility and attract opportunities that align with your interests. What kind of project or piece of work would you feel excited to share first? And how could that help you connect with the kind of roles you're looking for?
well, I think maybe this is a demo. This is AI as a coach, and this project took me half a day to work on, and it's through an element of, I guess, vibe coding prototypes, and interacting with AI to come up with products that are usable, but also just prototype something fairly quickly that we can share ideas about what's working and what's not, and maybe that will be of interest to people.
Absolutely, Scott. That sounds like a fantastic way to showcase your skills and your passion. Prototyping something quickly and sharing it publicly can attract the right kind of attention. How would you feel about making this AI coaching demo your first published piece? And what's one step you could take to share it this week?
Well, I'm actually sharing it with a recruiter on Monday, because they've given me an interview and they're probably going to ask me very low level questions about programming background, whereas I'd rather say, well, okay, this is some software that took me half a day to work on, and this is the kind of thing that I can do fairly easily.
That's a really smart approach, Scott. Showcasing that prototype can shift the conversation from just low-level technical questions to highlighting your creativity and problem-solving ability. How confident do you feel about presenting that in your upcoming interview? And is
Well,
there anything
that's fine,
that's
but that's just for the interview. I guess the question is, for a broader audience, how do I find the people that are actually looking for, that have this meaningful work that I might want to be doing? How might I go about finding those connections?
That's a great question, and it really gets to the heart of expanding your reach. One powerful approach is sharing your prototype in communities where people care about AI for good. Places like AI ethics forums, open source collaboration platforms, or even LinkedIn groups focused on impactful technology. What's one community or platform that resonates with you, where you could share your work and start building those connections this week?
Well, I can just do it on LinkedIn. That's fine. But I guess broadly, I'm not part of any group like that. But I am kind of interested in,
That's a
where would I find those groups? Where would I find the right people to showcase my abilities to? That's my biggest question at the moment.
I hear you, Scott. Finding those right groups can feel like a big unknown. One idea is to start by searching for AI for Good initiatives or ethical AI groups on LinkedIn. There are also hackathons, meetups, and online forums dedicated to using AI for social impact. What if your next step was to identify one or two of those communities and engage there? Maybe even ask for feedback on your demo. That could open doors to the meaningful work you're seeking.
Okay, that's interesting. So,
It
I,
sounds like
so you're suggesting that maybe in LinkedIn there are some forums that are like for the greater good, those sorts of things that I might be able to showcase this kind of software, and my prototyping ability to come up with quick demos, and maybe that would appeal for people. What sort of, I guess my question to myself is, do those groups uh, exist on LinkedIn, and what would be the kind of key searches I could use?
great question, Scott. Yes, those groups absolutely exist on LinkedIn. You might start by searching key phrases like AI for good, ethical AI, social impact technology, or machine learning for social impact. You'll find groups, discussions, and even individuals who are passionate about meaningful AI work. Once you join these groups, you can engage in conversations and share your demos. How does that sound as a next step for you?
That's fine, but is that more people in technology rather than people who would be spearheading um, the projects themselves? Because I guess I'm looking for government projects or anything like that, community-based projects, not for profits. So I think a lot of not for profits wouldn't be in the AI forums themselves because they don't know if this technology exists.
That's a really important distinction, Scott. You're right. Many not-for-profits or government projects might not be in those AI-specific forums. One approach could be finding intersection points, communities focused on technology for social good, digital transformation in nonprofits, or innovation in government. You might look into civic tech groups, social innovation networks, or even platforms like DevPost or communities around impact hackathons. How would it feel to explore one of those arenas and see if that opens up some new connections for you?
So that sounds good, but I'm not sure what exact steps I should be taking in the next week around that.
That's completely understandable. How about we break it down into a couple of clear, manageable steps for the next week? For example, one step could be identifying and joining one online community, like a civic tech or social innovation group. Another step could be drafting a short post that shares your demo and invites feedback, and then sharing that post in that community. Would breaking it down that way feel more doable for you?
Sorry, can you summarize that again?
Of course. Here's a simple breakdown. First, identify and join one relevant online community. It could be a civic tech group, a social impact forum, or a LinkedIn group related to ethical tech or innovation. Second, draft a short post introducing your demo and inviting feedback. Keep it simple and authentic. Finally, share that post in the group and begin engaging with any responses or connections that come from it. Does that feel like a clearer plan for the next week?
The question is, how do I find the right group to post in?
That's a great question. One way is to start by searching keywords related to your focus, like civic tech, AI for social good, or nonprofit technology, directly in LinkedIn's search bar. Then explore the groups that come up and look at their discussions and member profiles. You're looking for a group where people are talking about projects that align with your values, government, nonprofit, or social impact. You can join and observe before posting. How comfortable do you feel trying out a few searches and exploring what you find?
Yeah, I think maybe I'll test the waters by tagging a few councils, etc. Anyone who's kind of keen to play around with AI for greater good in whatever way. Maybe that's a way of doing it.
That sounds like a promising approach, Scott. Testing the waters by tagging a few councils or organizations that share an interest in AI for the greater good could help you gauge interest and start building those connections. You're creating an invitation for collaboration. How confident do you feel about taking that step in the coming days?
I think I could definitely try that on Monday morning, just as a test bed, and we'll see how this goes.
That sounds like a great plan. Using Monday as a test bed to share your demo and tag a few councils or organizations is a solid next step. You're giving yourself a real opportunity to see how people respond and what kind of connections open up. I'm confident you'll learn a lot from that. How are you feeling now about this direction?
I think that's interesting, is having some live demos that I can showcase. Might be the way to go. So thank you for this conversation.
You're very welcome, Scott. I'm really glad we could explore this together. You've got a solid plan now, with those live demos and a concrete step for Monday. I'm confident you're on the right path, and I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes.
Cheers.
Cheers, Scott. Wishing you the best with everything. You've got this.